Yo, how's it going, everyone? 80 right here, back at it again, live from the spot, bringing you another video, a movie review, first of 2024. Let's get it. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about Dune Part 2. Straightforward to say this, I very much enjoyed this film. I mean, it was a really long film, to be honest with you, to say the least. But let's get to the synopsis really quick here. So this follows Paul Atreides unites with Johnny, Zendaya's character, and the Freeman while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. Facing the choice between the love of his life and the fate of the universe, he must prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. In other words, this is a Jedi the chosen one in terms to following the prophecy, but in his opinion, he just wants everything to be just as normal and be as peaceful as ever, according to Timothée Chalamet's character Paul. And man, oh man, the stakes in this movie, it gets really good. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it gets like really suspenseful, and it really turns it up a notch from the second half. Actually, from the second act of the film to all the way to the third act. That's when, like, holy shit, this is getting good right now, and this is what a blockbuster sequel should do in the first place. I thought Denis Villeneuve did an absolute job. You could tell that he cared about this project once again, and he actually wanted part one to be its own thing, while this one is more action oriented, even though there's still a lot more dialogue, or not a lot more, but even though part one has a lot more build up in dialogue, part two is pretty much like the Aliens or Terminator Judgment Day in terms of like action execution, but also following the story within those scenes, which is absolutely well worth watching, at least in my opinion. I wouldn't say it's like Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it just stands out from the franchise. And you know, Denis Villeneuve really gave it his all. Again, the filmmakers, the crew, the cast, they all did their part. They all did such a great job. And you know, overall, you know, the journey, you do feel that when they are part of the world, or in this world, you know, Tatooine. I know, it's not a discount Tatooine, but it is pretty much Tatooine. But to be one with the sand and to be one with the Freeman, it's pretty inspiring, to say the least. You know, it's like pretty much, you know, following the ways or respecting one's nature, or the surrounding, you know, it's all like that. It makes this film so beloved because of the Freeman and the culture of the Freeman in general. This film overall, it does feel like it's 3 hours, but it's actually 2 hours and 46 minutes. So it's still a pretty long film, to be honest with you. But for the most part, you really get the kick out of it. Timothée Chalamet, I thought his character was way more better and way more utilized better than in the first one. Zendaya's character, Johnny, her character, I didn't mind her until, I'm not gonna lie to you, she did bother me until that third act. But there's a reason for that, and I was like, damn girl, why? But you know, hey, you know, that's the greatest parts about this film. Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, aka Paul's mom, she's very questionable. The Lady Jessica, or like the other ladies, aka the other witches, man, to me they're bad news. They're like, I don't know what this is. They remind me of the Sith. You know, kind of like, what are you trying to do? Why are you proving yourselves to be more worthy of anything? Florence Pugh and Christopher Walken, who plays Princess Orelon and as well as the Emperor. I thought they were like barely on the film, but they did, well with themselves. But I heard that they will do even more on part 3, which I absolutely cannot wait, because I'm very curious about what their motives really are at the end of the day. And to be honest with you guys, I saw Dune Part 1. It's not the first time that I've seen it. It's actually my second time when I saw it. But I saw it last Saturday, a few days later, because I saw Dune Part 2 on Monday night. It does like help, like, okay, this is where it's going, and I'm glad that I rewatched it. So I really do recommend watching Dune Part 1, because if you've seen Dune Part 2, I mean, you guys probably would get the sense of like what really is going on, but it really does help a lot more if you see Part 1 like a few days before you see Part 2, or maybe if you really do have a great memory itself. It depends on you, but it does help with subtitles too, because the dialogue, it does get a little heavy. Like, and when I mean heavy, they use like a lot of words that normally people don't really understand unless you read the book. But I personally didn't and never read the book at all, so I'm just saying it does help with subtitles. But anyway, that's me. Dune Part 2, absolutely great. It deserves to be in that rating of A. You already know it is an A. It's not a perfect overall film, but it does feel like that at times. There were some slow moments in the first act of the film, all the way towards the second half, or towards the second act of the film. But what really elevated a lot was that halfway to the third act, which was so mesmerizing, and it's really like the memorable parts of like, okay, this is getting good. And the action scenes in this, absolutely better than the first. I feel like the first one, it did have really cool action scenes. You cannot ignore it, it's so fucking badass. Like, I'm telling you that right now. And in this sequel, there is a lot of memorable moments, like the gladiator scene with Austin Butler's character in, and then as well as Paul riding the big ass worm. That was another cool scene. The sound effects was absolutely like bonkers. Like, it's so good. I mean, great sound effects in general. Cinematography, of course, that's A+. I mean, you already know what you're gonna get out of that. Shout out to Greg Fraser for that. Don't stop doing what you're doing, because that's just top tier shit. The story, again, it is, you can see why Star Wars was really heavily inspired by this particular franchise, Dune. But for the most part, Dune also has similarities of what Game of Thrones have, Star Wars has, and as well as Star Trek, with all the the different groups, or the different types of worlds, and the different types of characterisms from within these characters, and you get a kick out of it. I thought Javier Bardem's character, Stilgar, there you go, Stilgar, I thought he was so funny in the film. He was so worth watching, and much more to do than in the first one, because I remember in the first one he barely came out on it. But he was awesome in this one. Definitely a treat for this sequel. Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Baron, and Glossier, they barely come out of this film. I thought Dave Bautista at first was menacing as hell. But all he does is yelling and sobbing. But Stellan Skarsgård, I mean, who barely comes out of this film, rightfully so. He barely did anything, but at the end of the day, they both did their best. Josh Brolin, however, as Gurney, one of my favorite characters in the Dune franchise, alongside with Jason Momoa's character, I thought Gurney was absolutely funny, sarcastic, but so badass too, especially when he had his action scenes as well. So yeah, if you guys watch Dune Part 2, let me know what your thoughts about the film is and overall. And I'm glad that the Dune at least the story of Dune really got me hooked, and I cannot wait to what they do with part 3. But hey, hope you all enjoyed the film. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so, and more to come as usual. So thank you guys so much. Till next time, 80 out for now. Lates, peace out, stay healthy, y'all. Damn, Doom part 2.